What are we doing to this boat? You see the tower's down. It doesn't have an enclosure anymore. That's because we're building a hard cab. Here's the top part of the roof. And that's gonna be the sides before we put the roof on. But I gotta learn to freaking weld aluminum. So this came off of a 1994 North Star jet boat, whitewater boat. The frame fits almost perfectly, but it's a little bit too wide, so we need to narrow it up. That's why we cut the welds here, so we can make those fit. Then we'll have to narrow this up slightly, and we'll be able to weld that ball on and then just sheet it. But I don't know how to weld aluminum, so what are we doing? We're gonna learn how to weld aluminum. Hell yeah. Dude, first time ever. Honestly, it's not a terrible bead. That's my first ever aluminum weld. Here's my second ever. I lost sight through my hood of my puddle and I made a gap there, but as far as like, you know, I have it set up for thinner gauge, so it's not gonna penetrate this piece of aluminum, obviously. Already gonna start practicing some joints. I like the look. So far, not as bad as I thought or was expecting. We'll see when we start on thinner stuff and I'm not just making beads. Weld the other side. I don't know if that's a good or a bad thing. I mean, we can clean that up and take a look. I need to find a stainless steel brush. There's only one way to know. Am I gaining confidence that the welds are gonna hold for the purposes that I want them to hold for? I think so. All right, guys, there it is. My first ever aluminum weld. Check that out. Dude, in my opinion, not bad. How strong is it? I don't know. I'm not sure. We have to test it. Well, there you go. The aluminum compromised, but the weld did not. Those are some pretty hard hits. And nothing about that weld compromised or broke. Dude. Hell yeah. Honestly, it doesn't look bad either, guys. I can see my puddles fairly, like, really good. Like, there's a little bit of, I don't know what that is, maybe. I know as I had my arms resting, so as I was getting farther away from myself, like maybe I was getting too far away. That's where that spackling came from, or whatever welders call that. This one is not cleaned up yet. And that, I think that is looking pretty fresh right there. I think. That looks pretty beast mode right there, I believe. And you can see it's getting in. Yeah. I think we're figuring something out here. I could be totally wrong too. I could be like, somebody who actually knows how to weld could be looking at that and being like, what the hell? I don't know. Interesting. Moment of truth is we got to cut that bottom piece off and make the vertical piece shorter. Much more betterer. think it looks all right. Dude, it turned out sick though. Obviously not bolted in right now, but the back joint and the hand rail, you know, probably not the prettiest welds, but I did check my welds when I was doing some practice, and I'm getting in the root and the welds are holding and not cracking. That's all I'm concerned about. So, all right, look at that. Beautiful. Well, to get this roof to fit to my sides without necessarily knowing the angles or measurements, because I am slightly on the slow side when it comes to angles and legit measurements, I've cut strips or little cuts into these, and I'm gonna weld this plug in, so then the other parts slip over, and it's just gonna make life a lot easier on me. So what I've discovered here is if I run my welder quite a bit hotter, I'm able to melt through this material and get a root into my plug. That was just the ticket, because if I was on my settings to weld this material, I wasn't able to get a good weld through this slit and onto this. But if I turn it up hot, it's kind of going fast. You can see you got to go quick, but it's getting through and it's really getting a root onto this, and this is solid. Obviously, once I get where it needs to be, and there's going to be a weld here as well, which that'll go back down to my normal voltage and everything, so I'm getting a good solid weld on everything. But hopefully that makes sense and didn't confuse you all. So I'm just cutting a little slit here, so when I put my I gotta get more plug. When I put my plug in, this material and getting a good root and bind to my plug. No idea how I'm pulling this off, but I am pulling it off. Look at, she's centered, she's square, she's flat. Hell yes, brother. She turned out structurally sound. I'd say it works. Yay, it's tough. All right, got the frame built and done. Solid as shit. Couple extra rod holders on there. So now we're gonna figure out how we're gonna sheet this sucker. But the frame looks bitchin'. So far, impressive. All right, getting there. Right now, she looks like a fastback, but it has a roof. Freaking sick. Now for the alien part. Working her down to this windshield is gonna be interesting. But on that is I cut a relief groove. Took some crescent wrenches, otherwise known as crescent wrenches, so I could bend that piece down, be able to do a fill weld. That kind of works its way perfectly up underneath there. My dilemma with these top pieces is trying to get this to fold down is like real hard. So my solution is I took a self tapper in this very, very edge corner and ran it in so it pulls this seal together. Then I'm gonna weld it. Then I can pull that self tapper out, cut across this corner, which should fill where that was. All right, for some reason, I'm struggling with heat on my welder. I got that rolled over, welded across my relief groove, and yeah, I put some fill bar here where those corners were. Fill bar here, and like I said, I'm not a good aluminum welder, but some burn through, I don't know why. And then I think I found out I had my nozzle tip too far away, so the gas wasn't covering, and so I was getting burned through. So coming back through, trying to like pretty it up a little bit, and it's just ugly. This and this is not bad, and with the vinyl wrap going over it, not a big deal. So I came up with a plan. One of my pieces of tube I cut in half. Be able to run it up underneath, like so. I can weld that all in, and then it gives me a rain gutter. So water coming in hits and will run off that way. So I think that is what I'm going with. Got those two pieces on. It's gonna be a lot of grinder work for me because I suck at welding. That I botched completely. I don't know what I'm gonna do to fix that. My little gutter idea sucked. So I'll have to figure out some way to clean that up. I don't know. I mean, like when I was doing those welds, I was killing it. Don't know what I'm doing here. But we're getting closer. And here I just ran some riv nuts. Some people call them rivet nuts, but I call them riv nuts. Ran those in, some waterproofing foam or whatever you want to call it. Bolted that down. So this is going to be removable. Did not want to be welding to the boat, but yeah. We did it. We have a door. It's all hydraulic and shit. Look at that. Stays up. Hydraulic close. Dope. Oh my gosh, this is taking way longer than I ever thought. How far we've gotten now. Just grinding welds down and trying to get it ready for vinyl. The finish work getting closer is actually getting harder. Kind of blows. Super stoked. So we got this EVA boat stick-on foam, which we have in a couple spots, but here's the real trick. This is foam to take up noise. Here it is. You can hear the difference. Anyways, the trick that we did with that is, boom, spray adhesive Gorilla Glue. This shit is beast mode. And how much was that piece of EVA foam? We got what? It was like, I don't know how wide, like 2.5, 3 foot wide by like 5 foot long. Was like
15 wide, and it was like $54.
15 inches wide by so it was like 15 inches wide by like 8 feet, and it was like $50 freaking. So the wife went to Ross, and these rolls of foam, how much are these?
$12.99.
$12 for, so it's 20, this is 24 inches wide, so 2 feet wide by 72 inches long for $12.99. And we're spraying this adhesive foam, or this adhesive on the back of that, and it's freaking mounting up as if it was EVA foam that you bought from Amazon. Dope. And we are definitely making her clean. Looking fantastic. I've not found any cracks in my weld. Without finding any cracks in my initial welds, that makes me freaking stoked. These are solid. So the adhesive's gonna, on the vinyl's gonna lay right over. Got these ones ground down. It's starting to look good. Super pumped. I bought the 3M brand vinyl. I don't even remember what I got. 6 foot by 20 foot was like $350. So, but I wanted the good vinyl because I didn't want to buy junk that would be peeling up and all that stuff. So went to an actual shop, talked to the guy, he got me the good stuff. Hopefully that goes good. Frick yeah. This thing's turning out, guys. Turning out sick. Turning out fantastic. Not too sure if you guys can see under there, but the inside where we're getting her layered with our homemade EVA foam. It's turning out sick. Alright, moment of truth. Isn't that right? Mm-hmm. I'm gonna lay some vinyl, blow this off, clean it, and see if we can ruin $350 worth of vinyl. Now, just gonna use some alcohol, wipe her down. So we're gonna have the vinyl laid over. Now we're gonna hold this.
Need to come my way.
There. Oh my gosh, we are so close. So you saw the vinyl go down, and I found out I suck at laying vinyl. Thank God for Brooke, because she has always cut out vinyl, knows how to lay vinyl. And because of her, oh baby. Plus we got this black wrap here. Oh, beautiful. It's so freaking beautiful. So this is just like a non-stretch rubber material. We did snaps, buttons, wraps around. We're gonna be able to tuck this under our edging. Oh, it's turning out dope, dude. It's, hell yeah. It looks so freaking sick. We're getting there. The best part, this switch. Boom. Lows, highs. Big old spotlight on this sucker now. This edging is gonna serve multiple purposes. So, firstly, you notice black sides, gray roof. Well, that black trim is going to tie those two in really well. It'll look really good. On more important notes, it's going to make my job much easier of not having to trim and perfectly roll and finish off this edge of aluminum sheeting, because that is going to be the edge. And then also the angle, it's got a good rain drip to it for shedding water. And then other than that, the other main reason that made me think about getting an edging material is, you notice like this vinyl, so you see here we left a decent strip. So when that edging lays down, it's gonna hold all this down, and I never have to worry about my vinyl on the edges curling up or having any issues on that aspect. So that edging actually is serving quite a few important purposes for me. So yeah, there, we're gonna clamp her. where I'm gonna drill and run rivets is on the outside of my cab. Well, let's drill and rivet this. Angles are literally my arch nemesis, but that turned out pretty good. Thanks to Tom for helping me figure that out. Now, I'm gonna do this side. Straight, straight, straight. Ah, she looks good. She looks real good. So I got the LEDs set up on the rear. And the cool thing is, this is a crappie niblet container, but I didn't really have much place I could think of to mount it, so I screwed it into here, made a hole for my switch. Cool thing is you put your wire in, screw it shut, and then you got LEDs. Boom. The vinyl wrap from being able to roll or come out. Some of it looks, you know, I really just don't want wind and water getting to where this thing lifts. So that's the main purpose of me caulking the edges. I laid this down over the edges, and then I also caulked it, so hopefully it's like giving me the ultimate seal of holding this wrap on. I don't know shit about wraps. This is the first thing I've ever done a wrap on, so I'm just trying to be precautionary with it and make sure we don't rip it down the road in a couple days here, and by the time we get to the boat ramp, all this shit's just friggin' flown all over the place. So I want it to last. I think it's gonna last. We use black snaps. Probably can't even see them, but there's black snaps that run underneath there. Pulled it tight and around the edge and snapped it across there. So that looks pretty spiffy, and then we'll take a run in the shop and I can show you what the old whiff is working on. So this is our original back canvas. We're working on that. That's gonna work. We did not like the original side canvas pieces. And the amazing Zot that literally has every skill you can think of. What are you doing? You're gonna make your very own side curtains.
I'm gonna try.
What don't you do? Since we were doing all this work on the boat, I decided I'm gonna beef up a little bit of the trailer too and make new bunks. So rather than carpet, first thing I did is those are the 2x6, 10-foot 2x6s. And then this truck bed coating rolled onto these 2x6s to make them waterproof. And I'm going to put these bunk sliders on, which should be much more betterer. This is the edge, goes off the trailer so your boat doesn't drag them off. And then I did 5 of these, so every 17.5 inches down this 10-foot. I think that that's gonna be enough. I believe that's gonna be enough where it doesn't touch anything. Guys, I think it's done. I think it's freaking done. As far as the top's concerned, Brooke's finishing the sides that we made, whole new, brand new sides. We made new sides, guys. And other than that, dude, I think it's done. Now, gotta vacuum it, wash it, that kind of stuff. so we can go fishing tomorrow. I am so pumped, guys. It's done. I can't wait to reveal this freaking thing to you. I'm gonna have to wait until this is on the water, where it belongs, looking all fresh and shit in the same world that it's designed to live in, and the drones there flying over. That's where you're gonna get the real reveal. I'm so stoked. Turned out better than I would have ever imagined. I am kind of beside myself that Brooke and I were able to make something like this. I mean, that's an intricate ass design. I mean, that, you talk about hardtop in your boat that was never designed to be a hardtop. That's about as custom of a job as it gets. And hell yeah, super pumped, super freaking pumped. I'm actually gonna ride in this boat for a minute on the trailer. We just want to make sure it's gonna trailer and not have too much tension and everything that's gonna tear up the canvas on the side. So get around this corner, we're gonna hammer down and make sure everything holds together. Yeah, it's not really getting any tension on it at all. Yeah, no, not, looks solid to me. Sweet. This top makes our boat run faster. With the soft enclosure, this used to bow a little and catch more wind, and now it just slicks right off. Heck yeah, there it is, 42. Dude, we used to be like maybe 40. We actually gained speed. I hope everybody enjoyed today's video. I gotta tell you, the boat's more stable, definitely quieter. It actually runs faster on pad and cuts wind 10 times better. Tons of benefits to building this hard cab. I'm actually super impressed.
I'm gonna catch a fish next time.
You did catch a fish.
Yeah, one.
Such a complainer.
Water spray, throttle cranked as she breaks.